Okay, so you're going to need your problem set out for lesson 8. So that problem set starts, lesson 9. That problem set starts on page 49. So these are our notes that we went ahead and took. Let me unfreeze my board. These are the notes we went ahead and just took on lesson 9, reminding that we are working with our place value. We're rounding to multi-digit numbers in any place value. We've talked about what good explanations look like. They're specific and they incorporate some of our math vocabulary in them. If I'm drawing a picture to explain it, I want to make sure that I label the parts of the picture as an explanation too. Get it? Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just set this to the side because I can still use it as an example. And on page 49 in our problem set, you will notice that these numbers are very similar to one another. Or these problems, excuse me, are similar to what we were just practicing in our notebook, I should have said. Now, on number 1, I'm going to round to the nearest what?
1,000.
What am I going to do?
Underline.
Underline 1,000. That's my first strategy. That's really important that I do that so I remember which place value I'm rounding to. Now, I'm going to be rounding to the ones, tens, hundreds, and I'm going to be rounding to the
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands.
good. I'm going to round to the
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands.
I'm going to round to the
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands.
ooh. Now, I went ahead and underlined those place values all at the same time. Would have been easy to just lose track of it as I'm going. Could I still remind myself each time that I'm rounding to the nearest what? 1,000. Absolutely. But this kind of helps me stay on track. So I have 5,300. So my strategy that I typically do is I go ahead and write it out to the side, 5,300. And mine's kind of light. I'm going to write it in my pen. I wrote it pretty small still. I've underlined that place value and I'm going to circle the next digit. What's the next digit? 3. There's a 3 in the hundreds place. So in the hundreds place, that 3, what's our rule? 5 or let it soar. 4 or less, let it rest. Watch how fast that note reminds me of it. Ready? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. They stay the same. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They're going to go up. I wrote this up here just so that I can reference it pretty quickly. So a 3 tells me I'm going to do what? Stay the same. The 3 is going to stay the same or the 5 is going to stay the same?
The 5.
The 5, because I'm rounding to the nearest 1,000. I've circled it because I know that it's going to become a 0. So this is 5,000. Here we go. On B, I'm going to write that number to the
Side.
4, 5, 8, 9. That's 4,589. I'm rounding to the nearest.
1,000.
And I'm going to circle the 5 because the 5 will become a what? A 0. But the 5 tells me what's going to happen to this number. Ooh, freeze. I had about 5 people answer that. I want to know more. Finger on your nose if you know what's going to happen. So I look at my numbers. My number is a 5. 5 is going to go
Up.
So the 4 will become a
5.
5 because it's going to go up. Then everything after it becomes a 0. 1, 2, 3. Now, the ones that only go to the thousands place, they're a little bit easier. It gets trickier when we get into those 10,000s and those 100,000s because then sometimes it could also change the next digit. Get it?
Got it.
So I'm still going to rewrite that number 42,099. I'm going to underline my place value, which is a 2. And then I'm going to circle my what?
0.
It looks so weird. On your paper right now, go ahead and write what your answer is going to be. I pause. Okay, eyes up. So, in looking at our number, I know that my 2 is the number that is in the thousands place. And then my 0 is in the hundreds place because I go to the right to figure out what's going to happen to the 2. So I know that the 2 is going to stay the same. Use that note, right? Now, it helps me to kind of go ahead and write down my 2. Everything after it becomes a
0.
I don't need to increase it, my number in the 10,000s place because I didn't go over that 9 digits. So my 4 will stay the. Now, getting a little bit trickier. I'm going to underline that place value. What number is in the thousands place? What digit? 1. Good. 1 is in the thousands place. I'm going to circle a number. What digit am I going to circle? 5. Raise those hands for me, please. What digit am I going to circle? I'm going to circle the 5. Now the 5 tells me that the 1 is going to go. The 5 tells me that the 1 is going to go up. I use that note. If it's going to go up, write that number on your line now. Okay, looking at our number. So again, the 5 tells me that the 1 is going to go up. And if my 1 is going to go up, my 1 is going to become a what? A 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write down that thousands place is going to be a 2. Everything after it is going to become a
0.
How many zeros? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then in front of it, are those digits going to change? No, they're going to stay the same. 802,000. Now, here's a little bit tricky. This is what we talked about in our notes. Explain how you found your answer for part
D.
Can you write it in words or do it on a number line? Do it for me now. Go. Okay, going over good possible explanations. Now, a good possible explanation cannot just simply be, it was closer to this number, right? You want to use more math vocabulary or use a picture to prove our point. If I was using a picture to prove my point, I started off with the number 801,504. So 801,000 would be my bottom. 802,000 would be my top. And my middle number would be 801,500. From there, I know as I travel up the number line, I'm increasing by 100 because 10 100s take me to my next 1,000. So when I look at my number, 801,504, that's pretty much going to be right there on that line. Do you agree? Because it's just 4 more past that 500. So that number would be 801,504. If I wrote my explanation in words, a good explanation would be something to the effect of, I know that I give the number 801,504 is closer to, which one is it closer to? 802,000. Can I stop there?
No.
No, because I need to give that conjunction because it is closer. What do I say? Oh, sorry. I'm repeating myself. Because there are, what's the rule? 5 or more, let it soar. 4 or less, let it rest. There are 5, write that number, 5 hundredths. And 801,504. Now, could I alter that and change that a little bit?
Yes.
Absolutely. Just making sure that I'm proving my answer in words and using some math vocabulary. I'm talking about the place, value. Could you give the rule of 5 or more, let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest?
Yes.
But if I just write that rule, does that explain the number?
No.
But you could elaborate on that and explain it more if you wanted to. Get it? Okay, what I would like you to do is I would like you to complete numbers 2 and 3 now on your own. Go ahead. Okay, so when I looked at your problems, I noticed that several of you, when you started doing this on your own, you were only circling off of the number that was on there. Was that our strategy that I was doing? No, I don't do it because I don't know how. I do it because I know it helps you. So I always rewrite the number, right? And it's 26,000. What's in the 10,000s? Count them with me. No, not 1, 2.
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000.
So what's in the 10,000s? The 2. So this is in the thousands. The 6 tells me, oh, isn't it nice to have this up here? I also noticed a couple of you weren't following along with me and didn't write that note. Wouldn't that have been helpful to have? So the 6 tells me that the 2 is going to go, what? Up. The 2 is going to go up to a 3. I circle it, so everything else becomes a 0. So 26,000 is closer to 30,000 instead of 20,000. Get it? Going on to B. So when I look at B, I know that I'm going to rewrite my number. I'm going to count over. Actually, I'm going to underline, count over first. Ones.
Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000.
Check my place value. I'm going to the,
10,000.
wake up. I'm going to the,
10,000.
there we go. So I'm going to the 10,000s. I'm using the 4. The 4 tells me that the 3 is going to stay the same. The 3 stays the
Same.
everything after it becomes a 0. A 0 in the thousands, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. So 34,920 is closer to 30,000 than 40,000. Get it? Because does the number ever go down?
No.
No, it's funny that I kind of hear you guys say that, so it's going to go down. No. It either stays the same or it goes up. Get it?
Got it.
Okay. Therefore, let's look at the next one. Here we go. 789,091. Here we go. Ones.
Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s.
And I circle the thousands because I'm rounding in the 10,000s. So it's either going to be 80,000